Hello. So I guess everyone has joined in. So our topic for today's webinar is how to prepare your extension for listing on the Magento's marketplace. So as we all know, Magento offers vast and vibrant community consisting of developers, web services companies, and solution technology partners, all working together to extend Magento's capabilities to the next level through extensions. The most trusted and the must-have place to list Magento extension is in Magento's marketplace, but the process requires proper preparation and understanding. In this session, we will discuss some useful topics to list your extension in Magento's marketplace. So before starting our webinar, let me just give a brief introduction of myself. My name is Biplab Raut and I've been working as a Magento developer in InSync TechFin Solutions Limited in Calcutta. Besides this, I've been also got a chance to speak in various events in Calcutta as well. I got a chance to visit Magento Live as well as Magento Meetup Kolkata. Along with that, I've also have keen interest in like writing blogs. I've also got my own website where I publish my blogs, and you can go there and you can just have a look at what are the topics that I share. And apart from that, I also have a YouTube channel called the Mage Digest, where I upload videos based upon Magentos. And so like I upload lots of videos on the weekend basis, so you can go and have a look. And apart from that, you can also check me on Twitter as well as in the LinkedIn profile. So the points to discuss in today's webinar is that what is an extension and what about Magento's marketplace, the review processes while extension submission, detailed briefing on business review, technical review, manual keyway review, and marketing review. Also, we'll be giving you some useful topics around error reports and how to interpret that. And lastly, we'll be taking up the questions and answer sessions. So, what is a Magento extension? So, Magento extension is a block of PHP code, often comprises of combination of functions. It is added into the Magento to extend its functionality. Modules or extensions are the core of Magento to extend its features. Modules are further grouped into code pools, which allow for safe and easy customization and extending of its core functionality. Now, what is Magento Marketplace? Magento Marketplace offers merchants a curated selection of solutions while providing qualified developers the tools, platform, and prime location for a thriving business. It's a vibrant place where merchants, system integrators, and developers from all over the world can exchange ideas and offer creative solutions that meet the needs of businesses engaged in today's field of digital commerce. So basically what we have divided the Magento's marketplace into two segments. So one is the buyer segment and one is the sellers. So the buyers learn to how to find, purchase and install extensions and themes to enhance the capabilities of their Magento store. Whereas the sellers learn how to prepare and submit extensions and themes to Magento Marketplace in accord to the extension quality guidelines. Now we'll be moving on to the next part, that is the extension review process. So there are four types of review process which starts immediately after extension submission, and once an extension qualifies for all four reviews, then only it get listed in Magento's marketplace. So basically we have four review processes, that is the business review, the technical review, the manual keyway review, and the marketing review. So we'll be taking up one by one in the next slides. What is a business review? Business review is basically done for the idea validation. It ensures that each extension solves a business problem and delivers rich and unique functionality. So the very first or business review is called the utility. Utility means it provides the distinct functionality. All extensions should address a business need by solving an issue or enhancing existing functionality. Any extension that does not serve a useful purpose will be rejected. Now the next point that we be covering is the relevancy. So relevancy is basically it will be solving a common problem. So one should create an extension that addresses a specific business case or solves a common problem faced by Magento merchants. One should take a survey to see what extensions are already available on Magento Marketplace. And one should also differentiate the extension from other solutions. So while creating any module, so one should try to be innovative, and hence they have to keep in mind they do not copy any ideas from other developers. Now the next point is the appeal. So it generates the broad interest with sustained drawing power. Means one should create an extension that has a broad appeal. So your extension might be rejected if it appeals to a very small number of merchants. Now the last point of business review is the promotion. So promotion establishes yourself as a strong partner. So while submitting, you have to be your own cheerleader. So you have to create your case studies that shows the traction you have with your merchants. And also you can tell your success stories of merchants who will be using your extensions. So you have to establish yourself as a strong partner and work closely with the marketplace team to help Magento highlight your work. Now, so there are various things that has to be remembered for the business review processes. The very first thing would be that you have to mention an extension whether it is compatible with Magento 1.x or 2.x or both. Your solution will be tested based on this information. Now, you have to give a proper title of your extension, because based upon the title that you give, people will be recognizing your extension. Also, you have to give your solution requirements, like whether it's an SAS or other kind of services from third party. So everything should be mentioned. We also have to clearly mention a functional overview of your extension and what problem it can resolve. Also, you have to clearly mention why your extension is unique, apart from the other extensions that are already available in the marketplace. Also, you should also mention all the information properly, and then only you should submit for business review. Otherwise, if you are still in process in submitting your business review, kindly save all the details in the draft format. Now we are done with the business review. Now the next part of a review is called the technical review. So the technical review is basically a code validation which detects the presence of viruses, malware, and any indications of plagiarism in your code base. It also ensures that the package meets composer packaging and format requirements along with all the coding standards. So basically the technical review base consists of 6 parts, that is the package validation, code quality and syntax, antivirus malware checking, plagiarism, production installation test, and the varnish test. Now we'll be discussing one by one. The first one is called the package validation, which includes that the submitted package must meet composer packaging and format requirements. It must be a Magento module, it can be a Magento theme, Magento language pack, or meta package. So all Magento modules, the themes, and language packs must contain a composer.json and registration.php. Also, the Magento modules must contain the module.xml file. So for Magento 2.x extensions, it is possible for developers to perform a package validation self-check in advance of submission to the marketplace. So the various tools are also available in the GitHub repository. So the extension providers are also encouraged to read the Magento PHP developer guide for additional technical documentation. Now, we have various commands in order to check for whether the module is eligible for marketplace submissions. So as you can see, I've also provided a command which is called the php validate magento to package.php, followed by the zip file of the module. So basically what we have to do, we have to run this command in order to validate whether our package is eligible for the marketplace submission. So whenever we will be running this command, you'll be getting certain kind of messages. As you can see, I provided an image just for an example where it will be showing me like whatever error if I'm getting or warnings I'm getting. As you can see, I've uploaded my package which is called the B2B Mage. I've converted it into a zip format, and I've done this validation check command. And over here you can see it is giving me some messages where it says the warning zip, and it says it is not recommended to specify supported PHP versions in dependencies. If specified, it must at least match the PHP requirements of the supported Magento versions. So what basically it says that whenever we'll be developing a module and all this information will be there in my composer.json file, So in that file, we'll be mentioning, if we mention all the PHP versions that our module will be supported, then it should work with all those versions. Otherwise, everything will fail. So the very first thing that we'll be doing is to pass and validate your package, whether it is marketplace eligible or not. In the next slide, I've also given a command where it will debug that particular package. So as you can see from the screen, the command that it says, the PHP space validate underscore m2 package.php minus t, which is called the debugger, basically, followed by the zip package. So over here in the screen, as you can see, it is debugging each and every file that is there in your Magento module. And if there are any warnings, you'll be getting over there, as I have shown you in the previous image. Now, the next topic is the code quality and syntax. The Magento Marketplace coding standards make use of a custom set of coding snips. If the submitted code did not pass a check because of coding standards issue, a technical report will be generated and sent to the extension provider describing the issues found and where they are located in the code base. A list of the rule sets used as a part of the coding standards review, and everything is provided in the Magento's Marketplace user guide. So as you can see from the screen, I've got three commands basically. The first one is a PHP code sniffer tool, and the command is followed by this vendor bin phpcs space var, means this is basically the that root path where your package is installed, followed by the space and severity 10. So the meaning of this command is that this is a code sniffing tool. So automatically, if you run this command, so this tool automatically will be giving you the errors, any errors or as well as warnings if there is anything present in your package. We have to run this severity 10 command because we have to include this in order to pass the Magento's Marketplace extension submission process. So if you pass the severity, then only it will check for this high severity. And if you pass it, you can also pass with severity 1 and 2. But in order to pass the Magento's Marketplace review, you should give the severity 10 because it's the highest severity with which your code will be checked and automatically all the errors will be generated. Also, you have to give the extension specified, like over here. When we'll be running this command, automatically all your codes, which is of extension of PHP, automatically it will be scanned. But whereas you can also give any additional extension as well. Over here we have given the PHTML files. So what it does, it will be taking care of all those file extensions which is having the PHP as well as the PHTML extensions. And also I've given this text file, which means that whatever records or whatever warnings or errors this command will give you, everything will be fetched or everything will be printed in this text file format. So this is all about the code sniffing tool. Now the second part is a code beautifier and fixer. So what it does, so whatever error you have got from the code sniffing tool, so all those errors, or basically the part of the errors which can be fixed by the code beautifier and fixer, this command will do that for you. So the command for this is that the vendor bean phpcbf, that is a code beautifier and fixer space followed by the directory where your package is installed, standard meqp2, which means Magento extension quality. So you have to mention it over here and followed by space and no match. So what it does, so whatever code beautifier and fixer will do, so whatever error you have given or you have got in your file for the code snipping tool, so everything whatever the error messages or anything violation, so what is within the limits of a code beautifier, it will try to fix that. And apart from that, you have to take care if there are any class name errors or so you have to take care about those errors from your side. Apart from that, whatever is within the boundaries of the code beautifier and fixer, this command will do that for you. Now, the next command is a PHP copy paste detector. So what it does, it basically checks whether you have whether the code that you have written, whether that has been copied from any extensions or from any Magento's base code. Okay, so you have to write your class name accordingly. So in order to check whether is there any like a copied code or not, so you can run this command, which is the php cpd space followed by your Magento, where the Magento is installed, and you can write you can generate those errors into a text file. So you'll be getting all those bunch of codes or code blocks wherever you have copied from the Magento's code base. So this will be giving you an idea where the code has been copied. So accordingly, you can modify it accordingly to the results that you have got. Now moving on to the next slide, that is the product security and testing. So all submissions are run through a malware scan to ensure that the code base is free of malware. So we have these various tools called the Maldate and Claim AV that will help you to check whether in your code base or in your server whether there is any malware code or not. Now the next part is the plagiarism. So all submissions are checked for plagiarism in code and marketing content against existing marketplace extensions and the Magento code base. If the extension code contains source code from the Magento Community Edition of Magento 1.x or 2.x platforms, the extension must licensed under open source license and by giving a proper credit to the Magento Commerce. Now, third part is a production installation test. Every extension will be installed on Magento 2 and supported PHP versions. So during the installation, you should switch to a production mode. Extensions that fail this step will be notified accordingly and will be suspended from marketplace unless you promptly deliver any fixes that is required. So in order to do that, you have to run this command, that is in order to change your deploy mode. So basically normally what we have in Magento, it's in default mode or in developer mode. So in order to turn this into production mode, you have to run this command called the php space bin/magento deploy mode set production. So automatically this will be changing your developer mode or default mode to production mode. And the last part is a varnish test. So additional tests will be done by accessing the cacheable pages to ensure that they are being served by the varnish cache directly. So any unexpected cache misses will be considered as a failure. So before doing this module packages and all, what we have to do, one should install a varnish cache over there in the Magento server and try running those these tools and its checking process over there. Now I've given some examples like how does that like the warning reports and also the process of submission and all. In the meantime, you're also getting a report from the Magento Marketplace. So I've given an example over here. So this is basically a warning report, technical warning report. Over here, you can see it has given you a certain warnings over here. That is 194 and warnings. And in the next tab, that is it is empty over here, you'll be getting corresponding errors. So what you have to keep in mind is that if there are any errors, then you should have to fix those errors first. And if there are any warnings, then you can have a look onto the warnings. But basically, while submission of this packages and all to the marketplace, normally the warnings are ignored. But the first priority one should keep in mind is that if there are any errors, you should be taking care into that and solving it accordingly. So in the next image, as you can see, I have provided a technical error report. So whenever you'll be submitting anything, the Magento Marketplace will be giving an error report. So if you click on this download report, I hope you guys can see it. So there's a link called the download report. If you click on this link and report will be downloaded, so here you can have a look of all those errors that are there in your module so that you can have a look and you have to fix it accordingly. Now, the next topic is the manual keyway review. So this check verifies that the extension installs without error, is configurable as applicable and operates as expected. In order for extensions to pass the keyway review, you must do the following. Like the extensions must be able to install using Composer. Extensions must be able to compile without errors using the command that is the deploy mode set to production. Extensions must work on every version of Magento that you claim to work with your marketing informations. Also, extensions must work with every version of PHP that your selected version of Magento supports. It should also have all the functionality listed in your documentations. Also, it must not crash with unhandled errors or any invalid data submissions. So in the next image that I have provided over here is the QA report. Over here, if you can see, they have given us a report where this says that this error that occurred in the last failure also occurred in this failure. So please refer to the previous failure. So basically what they have done is that they'll be giving you certain commands or certain statements over here where they'll be saying that these are the errors which they have got from the keyword review. So this is basically the error report image. So you can have a look and you can have download the report as well, and you can do the changes whatever is required in order to pass the keyword review. Now, the next topic of discussion is a marketing review, and the last one. So what is a marketing review? So marketing review verifies that all the documentation and appropriate information is provided for each extension. From a marketing perspective, all submissions have to solve a business problem and deliver rich and unique functionality. Marketing descriptions will be checked against Magento's style guidelines and to make sure that content is in line with Magento brand and logo guidelines. So basically, marketing review consists of four things, that is the presentation, pricing, content, and branding. The very first thing that we have to keep in mind is that the presentation. Now, the first impressions obviously counts a lot. So Magento's has made an investment in the presentation of Magento's marketplace. So in return, they ask that you put forth an effort to present your solution in a professional manner. If they see a room for improvement, they will reach out to you before listing your extension on Magento's marketplace. Your product must have a professional presentation with clear description, images, and screenshots. The product name should indicate the purpose of the extension. The product description should be well written and provide an overview of the features and benefits. And one should also use high quality screenshots, images, and video to accompany the listing. The pricing is also very much important because items listed on Magento's marketplace can be offered for free or sold as a commercial products. The price of items offered for sale on Magento Marketplace can range anywhere between the $25 to $999 and must reflect fair market value. All purchases are made in US currency. Items sold on Magento Marketplace are subject to a revenue sharing fee that is paid by the developer. One should also take care of the content, that is, it should be complete brief and detailed description. The content accompanies your extension listing and is derived from the profile of the extension or theme and the information in the developer profile. All content that is associated with the Magento's marketplace listing must be free of offensive or any discriminatory language. The promotion of additional services or other extensions from your extension profile page is not allowed. The extension listing must accurately describe the product, including the description and overview information, version compatibility, and category selection. The extension listing must be free of spelling and grammatical errors. Branding is also very much important. The Magento name and its related logos are the trademarks that is being owned by Magento Commerce. So your extension and listing must not violate the trademarks and copyrights of Magento Commerce or any those of any third party. Apart from this, we should also keep in mind few tips while submitting this marketing review. What are those things apart from uh, these points? One should use bullets offered by Magento Marketplace editor, especially for long description. And one should keep in mind, like while giving a long description, it should be precise enough because this is very much important in a review process. The long description must have a feature list of the extension. The first appearance of extension name in long description should be bold and linked. One should mention if extension leads to any user account creation in other portals in the long description only. If extension account creation is not part of extension installation, then provide the sign up link in the long description. All headings need to be bold and in H3 format in long description and in black or orange. Now, continuing with the tips that we have very few points as well. Like one should also mention any additional cost required for external account creation in the long description. If the account creation has any additional cost, then we should provide the link of pricing page. External account creation and additional fees should be mentioned under S3 tag of accounts and pricing in the long description. Before list of features in long description, please mention what the extension can do for merchant, how it works, examples, or any cases. You need to leave the merchant with a detailed idea about the extension through long description. And no need to mention detailed installation or user instructions in the description, as we have a separate link where you can upload the user guide as well as the installation manual. Over here, if you can see, I've listed my products in the Magento's marketplace. Currently, if you can see, we have two products. One is the APPSeCONNECT and the B2B Mage. So the APPSeCONNECT is basically an integration platform that helps to integrate Magento and various ERP products. So currently APPSeCONNECT has been listed successfully in the Magento's marketplace. And so all these points that we have discussed, basically we have drawn our own experience and whatever problems we have faced while submitting our products to the Magento's marketplace. So we have drawn out our own conclusions as well as taken the reference like from the Magento's marketplace support team. So based upon those experiences, so we have tried to provide all those data and all those informations which one should keep in mind while submitting all these extensions to the Magento's marketplace. So as you can see from the image, like the Magento, like this APPSeCONNECT product has been successfully like is published in the Magento's marketplace, and we have another product called the B2B Mage, which is basically a B2B module that will help to transform your Magento store into a B2B portal. So currently the B2B Mage, it's in QA review process. And this is the screenshot of our APPSeCONNECT product that has been successfully being published into the Magento's marketplace. So you can also have a look into that. So I believe we have concluded all these points and information as well as the data that we have experienced while submitting our extension to the Magento's marketplace. So now I believe that you guys will be having some questions on your mind. So you please go forward and share your questions.
Yep. Yes, we already have received some questions. So I'd like to mention those questions first, and then we can continue with other questions. So I'd like to request all the attendees to use questions pane. So you can see there is a questions pane associated with GoToWebinar control panel. So you can ask all your questions in the questions pane, and we will try to answer that within this Q&A session. So the questions that I have already received is, the first question is, can extension for Magento 1.x be listed in Magento Marketplace?
Yes, you can provide your own module, be it Magento 1 and Magento 2. So you have to package your module according to the versions based upon Magento 1 or Magento 2, and you have to design it accordingly and based upon the initial information that you have to give correctly, whether it's for Magento 1 and 2, and correspondingly, you can upload it to the Magento's marketplace.
Okay. I've got another question, whether this presentation will be shared. So basically both the presentation as well as we are recording the session as well. So I have received some questions around video link. So once the webinar ends, so within like couple of business days, we will share both the presentation and the video link of this webinar with all the attendees and all the registrants who registered for this webinar. So moving to next marketplace, uh, so next question. So I have an extension for Magento 1.x which was listed in Magento Connect. Will it automatically be listed in Magento Marketplace?
So it's basically whatever for Magento 1, it used to be in the Magento's Connect Manager. So where you can have those modules listed over there. So whenever you'll be uploading such packages or extensions, it will be automatically be there in your Connect Manager. And if from there Magento's portal, we can download those extensions from there.
Yep. So basically, I'd like to mention that Magento Connect and Magento Marketplace are two different portals. And the last update that I have received is Magento Connect is transformed into Magento Marketplace, but Magento Marketplace has its own review processes as mentioned in the webinar. So I guess the extensions which was there in Magento Connect need to be resubmitted for listing in Magento Marketplace and need to go through all the review processes which we mentioned in the webinar. Am I correct, Biplab, at this point?
Yeah, actually, previously for the older versions and all, we used to have maintained these extensions in the Connect Manager. So we have to maintain those things in the Connect Manager, and we have to accordingly download it from there. So in case of Marketplace, all these like the points that you have discussed in today's session, we have to go through those processes, and accordingly, following those things, one can list his extension in the Marketplace.
Okay. The next question that I have received is how to avoid Severity 10 errors during technical review. I got stuck several times.
See, First of all, the command that we have to run through code snipping and all. So one should always check for the high severity, because if you have a look on the Magento's GitHub repository, it always says that one should pass through the severity 10 checking process. So in that checking process, one has to have a keen look on what are the codes. Basically, in that those cases, what we have, we basically miss out the class names and all, the methods and all. We miss out the annotations. Okay, and the proper class name should be mentioned. And whenever we'll be writing any method, one should give proper annotations over there. Because let's say if you want, if anyone wants to know what the method does, like the returning policy and all, so one should have a clear cut information in the annotations before any methods. So by giving all this, like by keeping in mind all these things, I think the severity 10 issues can be solved.
Okay. So we have two, three more questions. So I'd like to request attendees. So if you have any questions around this topic, so please use the question pen and ask us those questions. So the next question is, if I get warnings during technical review and no error, is there any concern?
See, as I said in my webinar, the warnings are basically are not of high severity. So one should keep in mind, like the errors should be fixed first. If your errors are down for to zero value, then one should also keep in mind that the warnings are also there, but to not to a large extent. Because if there are large number of warnings, that will also be a kind of a concern in the later processes. Let's say any functionality might be hampered in later stages. So if you are like done with your error, one should also move back to the warning stage and try to reduce it as much as possible.
The next question is, I'm planning to develop an extension so people can use our shipment services when shopping. Of course, this service are paid as it involves transactions in the middle part of shopping. Will the extension have an additional consideration or step in your review process?
Okay, so if this is for the shipping related information, if I'm not messing it out, could you please repeat that one more time for me?
Yeah, sure, sure. So the question is, I'm planning to develop an extension so people can use our shipment services when shopping. Of course, these services are paid as it involves transactions in the middle part of shopping. Will the extension have an additional consideration or step in your review process?
So
So,
whatever we have discussed over here is basically the code cycling and all this information or the user manual, right from the business review to the marketing review. So whatever information that you'll be giving out while submitting any package, so every all those functionality should be there in your module. It does not require any additional review processes, because these are the three to four review processes that we basically have, right, starting from the business review and ends in the marketing review. So one should keep in mind, like whatever module they're uploading and whatever user manual or whatever installation processes that are giving, so both these things should be matching to each other and should not contradict to each other. And apart from
yeah,
that, all the review processes and the code review and all, everything will remain the same.
yeah. So basically, I would also like to add few things. So basically, the review process doesn't change because of the nature of the extension. The review process remains same. There will be four review processes as mentioned and showcased in the webinar. Now, regarding one thing I'd like to mention, that you have mentioned here that there will be additional services, and the extension will use shipment services. So you need to mention this properly during business review, because there is as shown by Biplab in the presentation, during business review there is a point where you need to mention any additional services or any other SaaS based connections of third party if the extension is calling. So you need to mention that in business review. And during the marketing review, in long description section, if your extension require account creation in any other third party portal, so you need to mention whether it require account creation in any third party portal in long description section of marketing review process. And you also need to mention the additional pricing. And you also need to, if it require external account creation, then you need to give the sign up link the sign up page link of the external account creation page. So these are the norms which we know, which you need to follow according to the nature of the extension. So if your extension requires or following these kind of external account creation or third party services calling, then you need to follow these steps, but the basic review process is same.
Yeah, as I said, like the long description part, while submitting this extensions to the marketplace, one should always keep in mind that the long description is a very much important thing while submitting it. So one should be like alert enough to give proper information with proper standard of styling and all, based upon the headlines and all whatever information. So all those things should be there in the long description in a proper manner.
Okay, so we have one other question, and I'd like to request attendees, if you have any more question, kindly use questions pane. Otherwise, after answering these questions, we'll wrap up the session. So the question that I currently have is, to list extension in Magento Marketplace, is it mandatory to be a Magento partner?
No, you don't need to be a Magento partner for that, because if you are a developer, if you have any extension, or if you feel like that you can have any additional functionality, because as I said, an extension means it is adding an extra functionality to your Magento store. So if you're a developer, if you have any idea, or you can help out people to develop an extension or to add any extra functionality to a Magento, you can develop a module and you can submit that module along with your idea with proper information and user guide, and you can submit it to a Magento Marketplace, and accordingly the review process will be done. So this is how it's an independent of whether you are technology partner or not. So it's basically you are submitting a functionality or an extra characteristic to your Magento store via module, and it should be listed in the marketplace so that everyone or whoever in the market can download it and use the same.
Yeah. So adding few things here. So basically, you if you want to submit an extension and you are not a Magento partner, as Biplab mentioned, you can definitely do that. For that, you simply need a developer account in the Magento development developer portal, where you'll be submitting the extension. And apart from that, you need to go through all the standard review processes. And Magento Marketplace is where it works in a revenue sharing model. So I hope you are aware that it works in a revenue sharing model. So whatever earnings are there, whatever the buyers are buying your module, marketplace has its own revenue share. So it works in this model. So that's why both Magento partners and non-partners, freelancers even, all are allowed to submit their extension in Magento Marketplace. So I've received another question. uh, Meta package or a sub module with my extension package? Biplab, are you there?
Yes.
The question is meta package.
Yeah.
The question is how we can include a meta package or a sub module with my extension package.
Okay. So basically, what a meta package means, let's say you have developed a module. Along with the module, you'll also be providing a theme or any design package along with the module. Okay, so based upon the functionality, you'll also providing a theme file along with that. That is what comprises of a meta package. So whenever you'll be developing a meta package, one should keep in mind that you should also include the composer.json, because meta package means you are submitting a dependency along with the module. So you should include every information and all those information in a composer.json while submitting a meta package. And also it is also recommended that if your module has various number of functionalities, you can also let's say you can divide it based upon the functionality and can create submodules, and you can also club it into one, create a composer.json, create a registration.php file into that, and you can package it into one and you can submit the whole into the extension into the same extension into the Magento's marketplace.
Okay, thanks, Biplab. So I don't think there is any other questions remain to be answered. So I think we can wrap up the session. And As I mentioned, we will definitely share the presentation as well as the video link of the whole session with you within like 3 4 business days through email.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks, Bipla, for your time, and thanks to all the attendees for attending this session. I hope we hope that you find this session useful, and best of luck with your extension submission in Magento Marketplace.
Thank you. Thank you, Subhajit. Thank you all.